What are some real but crazy facts that could save your life? If you ever have to rescue a drowning person, throw them something to grab onto beside yourself. As a child, maybe 7 years old, I encountered my 4-year-old brother drowning in our pool after the maintenance guys left the fence open. I jumped in and grabbed my brother, who proceeded to try and drown me to get above water. I walked along the bottom holding my breath with him on my shoulders until the edge. I didn't think about it too much until I had kids of my own. I relive it in nightmares. I have pretty severe anxiety about my kids around water. I die in those dreams rescuing them a lot. I feel like I learned some of those dangers the hard way, but not the hardest way. If your house smells like fish for absolutely no reason, 9 times out of 10 it means that there is an electrical fire. The other time it means you need to take a shower. If you get stabbed or impaled, leave the foreign object alone. Do not attempt to remove it. Yeah, it's horrible and it's freaking you out, but your odds of survival are much higher if you just leave it be. Medical professionals will remove it in an environment equipped to deal with it. Also worth noting, if you react in panic and remove the object, but then remember this fact, do not try to put the object back in. If someone is trying to suffocate you with a pillow by pressing it down on your face, just rotate your head to the side and there will be a small air pocket for you to breathe. They'll probably still try to kill you afterwards, but at least you can survive for longer. I got into a heated debate with my dad at a family dinner once. He was saying how he could suffocate me by putting a plastic bag over my head, and I said no, I could easily get out of that. The man went and got a trash bag and put in around my head. My survival method was to suck the bag into my mouth and chew up the bag the best I could. Totally worked. If you're choking, don't get embarrassed. Don't go to the bathroom. Don't walk away from people. I've seen a couple people nearly die because they were panicking and walked away from the dinner tables and such while choking. Do the universal sign for choking with both your hands on your neck, and most people will get the message. I walked to the bathroom while choking once, slipped, fell, and got a concussion from the toilet seat. At least the food came out. Well, now we have 2 choices. You can hold a plastic bag around a willow tree branch with leaves and it will start condensating drinkable water in the bag. If it's cloudy outside and you suddenly feel static run down your body and your hairs raise, better pucker them cheeks and drop to the ground. Lightning is about to hit dangerously close to you. Jump first to break any connection you have with the surface, then squat as low as you can with just the balls of your feet on the ground, heels touching, and cover your ears. You want as little contact with the ground as possible, and touching your heels together can redirect any electricity back to the ground in as short of a distance as possible. Since you're unlikely to be struck directly, this can minimize your damage. I felt this on the top of Mount Lassen in California once when I was with a hiking group in college. Clouds rolled in sooner and thicker than expected that day, and shortly after summiting the mountain, I noticed the air was weird. I felt a lot of static electricity, and everyone's hair was up. We'd been hanging out eating lunch and our hiking guide told us we had to move now. Which in retrospect, IDK if maybe we should have sheltered and assumed the position and waited for a minute until the air cleared. But her priority was getting us off of the highest point as quick as possible. We had taken hours to hike up the mountain and we ran down that thing in half an hour. Lightning was striking everywhere and we were being pelted with hail. We made it out just fine, but the lightning started a lot of fires in the area. Summer of 2008. I'll never forget the uneasy feeling before lightning struck. My body knew what was happening before I did. Put a lid on a flaming pan to smother it and remove from heat carefully. Never throw any liquid on it. Don't remove the lid for at least 5 minutes. If you crash into an electrical pole, immediately call 911, or your country's equivalent, and stay in the car. You could have downed an electrical wire, and the wire will still be live. Assume the entire area around your car is electrified. Only get out of the car if there's an immediate danger, such as a fire. When you exit the car, make sure both feet touch the ground at the same time, and only take small, shuffling steps, and make sure both feet are touching the ground at all times. There were 2 teenagers from my hometown that were electrocuted after an accident like this. If you get bit by a wild animal, you must get the rabies vaccine. Rabies is not like a flu or mild inconvenience. It's one of the most lethal diseases on the planet. It has a near 100% fatality once the disease takes hold, and it's a horrible way to go. If the ocean water suddenly recedes at the beach, you're at a tsunami is probably coming. Run. Don't look at the fish. Oh, a tsunami is coming. Looks at the fish. Edit. Damn 8K upvotes. Was not expecting that shit, Thai guys. That's pretty much what happened at that tsunami in 2005, I think. The water receded and lots of tourists went out into the former surf picking shells and stuff. When Tay wave came, they were in a terrible position. SRY 2004, not 2K5. There was a British girl who just learned about tsunamis at school, so she was able to warn everyone around her and they escaped in time. Yes, she saw the water recede and the wildlife take off and she was hysterically screaming at everyone to get off the beach. Legend. Never work under a car on a jack. Always have it on jack stands or a lift. To add to this, never fully trust jack stands and put a tire under the car by the stand. This actually saved my life. I had the car up on stands with a tire underneath as well while I worked on the brakes. I was fully under the vehicle and the jack stand failed and the car dropped. Went down so fast I wasn't even sure what happened before I would have been crushed. Tire caught the vehicle and gave me just enough room to get out from under the car. This is absolutely great advice. 2 jack stands, the jack and the tire is my way. If all that fails, well it was my time. If all that fails, well it was my time. This is some Final Destination shit at that point. When I am done reading these comments, I am gonna be immortal. I just have anxiety. If you end up having to survive in a forest, crickets or grasshoppers chirping is not annoying, it is your sign of safety. Crickets stop chirping when something big is moving close to them. I thought you were going to say if you end up having to survive in a forest, crickets or grasshoppers chirping is not annoying, they are a good snack. If you find yourself stranded in a desert, ration sweat, not water. Of course don't drink all of your water in one go, but the rate at which you'll dehydrate and overheat if exerting yourself, e.g. walking, hiking too fast or climbing over obstacles in the heat of the day, will kill you much quicker. Many people are found dead, with water, which is terrifying. Garage door springs will kill you if you try to fix them yourself. Fact. When caught in a rip at the beach, just swim slowly along the beach, parallel to the shore until you feel the pull ease up, then swim towards the shore. This works if the rip is carrying you away from shore. It won't work if you're caught in a longshore current. To generalize, if you're out swimming and get caught in a current, tread water or float long enough to figure out which way it's carrying you. Then swim at right angles to that direction until you get out. If you drive after being awake for 24 hours, your response times are impaired, the equivalent of somebody just over the drink driving limit. Maybe not to save your own life, but it could help you save someone else's. When performing CPR, chest compressions need to be continuous, deep and fairly quick. Call for an ambulance first. If you can get someone to help you, do so, because it is exhausting. For an adult, good quality chest compressions should be 2 per second and 5 to 6 cms deep. You should lock your hands together one on top of the other, get your arms straight, lock your elbows and push with the heel of your bottom hand into the middle of the chest. Hard. And you do not stop until help arrives. The rumor that chest compressions can crack ribs is true, but trust me, they'd rather have broken ribs than be dead. If a person's pupils don't dilate to the same size, there's the possibility of brain damage. Never leave unsecured heavy objects like tools on the back seat, parcel shelf of your car. In a high-speed collision such items can kill you. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. As others pointed out, this should also extend to lighter objects and especially passengers and pets. Don't let anyone be too cool for a seatbelt in your car, make them all buckle up. Stay safe folks, thanks for the silver. Not too crazy, but if someone is acting drunk but didn't had any alcohol, ask them to smile. If one side of their mouth is down, take them to a doctor cause they are having or will have a stroke. If you need to check a pressurized line, hydraulic line, Never ever use your hand. Use a piece of cardboard or soapy water. If you use your hand to check, the pressure can cause the fluid to cut your skin, and liquids like hydraulic fluid will cause gangrene in a matter of hours. Go to the hospital immediately and get them to check you right away. Don't take no for an answer. It could mean the difference between keeping versus losing your limb. Link edit. Adding some reading that explains better than I could. Again, please use cardboard or soapy water to check. This isn't just for heavy machinery. It's just good safe practice. A motorcycle helmet is stronger than a skull. Point at someone and delegate. People freeze up in emergencies or assume someone else will handle a problem. Point at someone as say, "You guy in the blue shirt. Go to the gate and tell the ambulance where we are. Ma'am, please go with him. Don't ask, does anyone know CPR? Point at someone and ask if they do. Even if they don't, people are more likely to step forward in fear of being asked next and judged for not acting sooner than volunteering from the beginning. Be aware of potential energy. Heavy weight overhead, highly tensioned wires and springs, momentum. Things break and now you're on 1,000 ways to die. Drink vodka if you get antifreeze in your system. I went to an animal CPR and emergency class, taught by an old Army veterinarian. He said back in the day when they brought a dog in that consumed antifreeze, they'd send a guy to the liquor store. Everybody would take a shot of the vodka because it was about to be a long night. Then they'd get the dog drunk as hell, bordering on alcohol poisoning. If the body is busy filtering the vodka, it can't filter the antifreeze and it'll just pass through the system. It's when the body tries to process the antifreeze that makes you die because it forms crystals in the kidney, liver or something. So you have to distract the body away from the antifreeze till it passes. Antifreeze? Doctor, this man needs to party stat. Edit to add. My first gold, thanks. Now to chug some antifreeze to celebrate. Never try to fix a microwave. They only kill you for a few days? When you come back to life, do you remember what happened? If someone odds, don't wait to discuss or figure out if they will get in trouble. Every minute counts, and if staff ask if they took anything, tell them immediately. Tests will reveal it anyway, but every minute they have to run them is another minute they can't treat the patient correctly. Do not hesitate to call emergency services for a suspected overdose, as quick in treatment and response is imperative. They're not the police. They're not out to get anyone in trouble, and if it messes with something like their doctor's prescriptions, it's preferable to leaving them to die. If you do any kind of opiates or have people at your house who do often, have naloxone handy and know how to administer it. Carjacks are for lifting, not holding. Once clinical symptoms appear in a rabies victim, it is 100% fatal. If you're bit by a wild animal, seek medical attention immediately. Men and women can show very different signs when they're having a heart attack. Link. If you have any of these signs, call 911 and get to a hospital right away. Uncomfortable pressure, squeezing, fullness or pain in the center of your chest. It lasts more than a few minutes, or goes away and comes back. Pain or discomfort in one or both arms, the back, neck, jaw or stomach. Shortness of breath with or without chest discomfort. Other signs such as breaking out in a cold sweat, nausea or lightheadedness. As with men, women's most common heart attack symptom is chest pain or discomfort. But women are somewhat more likely than men to experience some of the other common symptoms, particularly shortness of breath, nausea, vomiting and back or jaw pain. Adding on to this, it's much more common for women to not have the usual chest, arm pain than it is for men. They may have pain in different parts of their body or sometimes barely any pain at all. An nurse colleague was telling me about a female patient complaining about shortness of breath and a dime-sized painful area in her lower back but otherwise seemed fine. Turns out she was having a full-blown STEMI, worst kind of heart attack. A moose in the rut is more dangerous than a bear. Do not approach. Tobacco is aseptic. If you have a wound, you can pack the filing from a cigarette into it to stave off infection. It'll numb you a little too, so that's nice. If you're a lady being followed in a city, liquor store, corner stores are great places to duck into. Clerks are great people to tell. Have been followed in sketchy neighborhoods a number of times and they've been great and down to tell a creepy fucker off or just keep an eye out for me 9.5, 10 times. Would write an ode to them if I could. If you're a lady in a drinking establishment, pub, bar, nightclub and some fella is being sleazy, go into the ladies' toilets and announce it loudly to the room, hell hath no fury like the drunk girls in nightclub lose when a stranger is getting harassed. Also tell a bartender you want an angel shot or ask for Angela at the bar. Had met up with a Tinder date while I was on vacation in Hawaii who told me within a few moments of arriving at the club that he was on shrooms and kept trying to shove his tongue down my throat. I excused myself to the long line to the ladies' room quickly after. I told the woman waiting next to me about it and she immediately said, "Girl, I got you. We go in this bathroom together and we leave together. You're with my friends and I for the night and if you see him, let us know." I ended up having an amazing night with them and we still chat from time to time. Women's restrooms on a night out are where true bonds are forged. I learned this from a firefighter video I saw years ago, probably here on Reddit. If you are ever choking and there is nobody to help you, lay on the floor on your hands and knees, then drop your body to the floor. This should create a sudden puff of air, pushing the food out of your throat. If at first you don't succeed, try it again. It will save your life. Edit here is the video. Link edit 2 here is a second, more updated version. Link. When you're driving down the highway, check the sides of the road for glowing eyes of animals like deer and elk. It's the best way to avoid or prepare yourselves for collisions. Ever since hitting a moose I do this constantly. IDK why this one is missing. When you see someone faint, don't help him staying up. Gently catch and lay down ASAP. They're fainting because brain needs blood to stay alive. Keeping them upright will prevent this. If you feel lightheaded, lay down so that no dumbass will try to keep you on your feet. If you suffer from any condition that causes fainting, explain this to people around you. People who are looking for trouble are less likely to go for you if you say hi or just let them know you are aware of them, such as by greeting and introducing yourself. I worked overnight at a gas station when I was younger. I always greeted everyone immediately for this exact reason, especially if it was someone I hadn't seen before. This actually kept me from getting robbed one night. A guy came into my store and I just said something like, "What's going on, man?" or something like that, and he seemed caught off guard and then said he forgot his wallet in the car and drove off. He immediately went and robbed the store down the street. Luckily no one was harmed, but still pretty crazy. If the forest suddenly falls silent, stop and listen. More often than not it means apex predator is near. Silence is the boss music of the forest. Teabags stop bleeding. They have an acid called tannic which is a natural clotting agent. Sucking out snake venom doesn't work. If you've been bitten by a venomous snake, take a clear picture from a distance and call an ambulance immediately. The picture will be used to identify the snake species in order to get the most effective antivenom. Edit. I answer why, despite having CROFAB, universal antivenom, narrowing down the species aids in treatment. This will especially save your life. If you see a venomous snake, do not approach to kill it or relocate it. This is how people get bitten. Spray it with water and it should leave, or, wait 30 minutes and it will be gone. Getting close to a venomous snake with the intent to kill it is how you will get bitten. If you see a snake you can't identify 100%, if there is even the slightest possibility you don't know, don't pick it up. This is surprisingly common. Friendly VetMed specializing in herpetology. That photo can also be used on wanted posters so you can get revenge on that snake and bite it back. The rule of 3. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Prioritize water first in a survival situation. Edit. Many people are saying I missed 3 hours without shelter. I absolutely agree. It's very temperate this time of year here, so it wasn't at the front of my mind. Find shelter, then water in those cases. Seems like you'd want to prioritize air. Another gullible fool falls for the propaganda of the air industry. Polar bear liver contains a fatal amount of vitamin A if eaten by a human. If you are ever offered polar bear liver, politely decline. Link. Don't swim towards the cute dolphins. Those motherfuckers will hit you with their tails, headbutt you, and drown you if they feel like it. Seriously, they're big, strong, wild animals, and although they are generally pretty chill around humans, you really don't want to meet one in a bad mood. Edited out a false assumption based on the apparent myth that dolphins are sexually aggressive towards humans. Looks like they are not. Never, ever, ever go with someone who has a gun or knife pressed against you. Most people think complying with save them, but really they are just looking for a better place to kill you. Make them kill you in a crowded location or the current one. Chances are they won't, or they wouldn't have asked you to go with them. If you drink bad homemade alcohol, it may have methanol, which is deadly. It can cause vomiting and blurred vision, and ultimately can kill you. The cure for methanol poison is drinking ethanol, regular alcohol. So basically, if you get sick from moonshine, drinking good whiskey or vodka can save your life. Edit. Some people have commented that this is false information, but some information online says that this is true. I heard about this on House, but I did at least Google, and found several links about methanol moonshine poisoning. I am not a medical doctor. If you are trapped in a burning building and your exits are blocked by flames, make sure there is no fire on the other side. Put a blanket over you if you have one around, tuck your face down, then run through the flames. Immediately throw the blanket off of you as it will be on fire, but you won't. A hooded jacket could work too. Just be aware that your legs will be uncovered, so once you throw the jacket off, immediately stop, drop and roll to put the fire out on your legs. This works best if you are going out a window or a door to the outside. Don't do it if you aren't sure there is no fire on the other side. If you run through a burning doorway into a hallway that is also completely on fire, you're fucked.